The farthest back I know about Craig McBride's journey with Donata was in March 2005 when he joined Donata as manager Donata Safety. He is one of the few managers I can say who has worked with 4 different DSVPs. Started off with Tom Lewis, then John Conway, Steve Allen, and now with David Barker. In the same year, Craig was also given the portfolio of training. In the year 2005, the training was still, known as buddy system or attachments. There was no structured training during that period. For example, passenger steps used to take 30 days. Pushback sometimes used to go on for about 3 months.
The closest to training materials during the time were PowerPoints, a piece of paper that is signed by trainees and trainer. The training was given and received.
Some of the milestones that we achieved during Craig's time with safety and training. The first one was in 2008 when Donata was certified as the first ground handling company in the world for ISAGO. In the same year, we also started the preparation for our first A380 flight. In the same year, we also faced with the challenge of a great recession, I can say, and this forced the company to do a restructure, and in that training and safety was split. Craig was given the choice of selecting between safety and training, but he chose to stay with training, and I had to stay with safety at that time on Craig's instruction, as the person coming to take over safety was relatively new in that business.
Through Craig's visionary efforts to put structure and standardized training, he was able to get trainer certification for all trainers. Then the next big task was to standardize training. This gave birth to the proper training and assessment manual that we use today.
Craig values loyalty and diligence. When I found myself in the midst of restructure of Donata Safety in 2015, he never hesitated to take me back, so I decided to go with training this time. He would come to the aid of the staff made redundant from L&D or other department in the company, and now even after the pandemic, we have got almost 100% of our team members back. I believe one of the key ingredients to Craig's success with Donata training is his nature to solve problems with objectivity and thoroughness. At the time of 2015 Project Libra, I remember we had to train about 3,000 staff. However, there were many failures and errors during the training that we came across, especially when it was related to the ALS training. When he noticed that the blame is coming to the training, he stopped the training for a while and he asked the controllers and the coaching and compliance officers to demonstrate what exactly is the role of the ALS. And then we had to do corrections in the training because the step-by-step procedures which was laid down as a desktop exercise didn't go that well. But from there on, we picked it up and it went very smoothly. The opportunity, started the development of the new format of step-by-step work instruction. Donata training has reached so far from where it all started and achieved so much in the last 17 years under his leadership.
Donata training under his direction has been consolidated into one unit rather than being scattered around the business like in the past.
The Donata training framework that he started is now being the basis of the global training framework adapted for Donata's network.
We were able to successfully take over all the functional training of the core roles in Donata from our group learning and development. This created more efficiency by reducing the staff lead time to the roster while maintaining the quality of training.
In 2015, we have won the Training and Service Excellence Award.
We are among the first operational training unit in Donata that has its own internal capability to produce e-learning and multimedia.
Of all Craig's colorful legacy, the ones that will stand out and remain echoing in the lives of the people he worked with are
the two W's. Weird and wacky. That's Craig.
Incredibly knowledgeable, but he was very generous and approachable, and he really made me laugh.
Unrelenting passion and commitment. You've really made a massive difference to us, and not least in the last couple of years.
Talking about cricket and always giving you grief, or taking sometimes grief when we very seldom lose against Australia.
The Australian standards, the only thing that comes to our mind is Craig.
I've never seen a person who is so thorough and consistent with his approach.
He's very like-minded in terms of making things simple so that they were to the benefit of the employee.
You've always been a figure, and you've always been a personality, you've always been larger than life, and you've always been honest. You've always been a man who's worked extremely hard and extremely passionately to get training, your part of this wonderful empire called Donata, correct.
The passion that you bring and the passion that reflects in your people, about you, about the work that they do.
He cares for the team as if it's his family.
I will never forget seeing tears in your eyes during the pandemic when people had to leave their job. I really appreciate the call that you made to me when I lost my job to check on me and the baby. I'll never forget that.
For making the time as much as possible to listen to us when we wanted to talk to him.
You have been very kind and always very honest. I have never seen you with the bossy behavior, and that's what I always loved about you.
You've been a wonderful boss. You're very strict, but you're straightforward, but you also know how to defend all of us.
From day one, you've been a wonderful friend, a supporter. You've challenged me and pulled me into line when I've needed that. You've taught me so much, and you've made me laugh and helped me make sense of things.
He's been a wonderful friend and a great colleague for the last nearly 6 years. He is a man who genuinely, in those difficult times, has put an arm around me, giving great advice, and I genuinely want to say thank you.
You're real good value, and we're going to miss you as Donata, and I'm going to miss you as a friend.
But I think more than anything, while Craig might be described as a grumpy old man, he's a man with the biggest heart in the world. I will miss him so much.